Imagine waking up in a place where you can still use your US passport, still call yourself an American, but somehow pay 0% tax, skip the visa drama, live on island time, and maybe even move somewhere so culturally different you forget the mainland ever existed. Now imagine all of that is 100% legal. No loopholes, no renouncing citizenship, no move to Bali and hope the government doesn't notice. Because buried under the US flag are territories where Americans can live free. Free from federal taxes, free from strict land rules, or free from the fast-paced chaos of everyday America. The wild part? Every single one comes with a twist no tourist brochure will ever tell you. 5. Northern Mariana Islands. Freedom with fine print. We're starting in a place most Americans couldn't find on a map even if the map was labeled with giant neon arrows. Welcome to the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, CNMI, including Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, a territory with such a unique agreement with the US that it basically said, "We'll join America, but we're keeping the keys to the land." And they did. Under their political covenant with the US, the CNMI got to keep local control over land ownership, meaning only people of Northern Mariana or certain indigenous descent can own property. Outsiders? They can lease. Long-term? Sure. But own? Nah. That rule protects the islands from foreign investors and mega resort developers turning every beach into luxury whale breeze resort apartments. Instead, locals keep the coastline and culture stays king. For Americans who move here, freedom looks like fewer business regulations than many states, a slower lifestyle, lower overall taxes in certain sectors, visa-free relocation, and sunsets that feel like someone color-graded the sky on Photoshop. But don't let the paradise fool you. The CNMI has had a chaotic history. Wild immigration eras, garment factories, and economic roller coasters, making it one of the most complex US territories ever created. Still, it remains one of the easiest places for an American to move and immediately feel like they're living in a different dimension. If CNMI's biggest twist is protecting land, the next territory takes protection even further, to the point where most Americans aren't even allowed to own land at all. 4. American Samoa, where America ends and tradition begins. At number 4, we've got the most culturally distinct territory under the US flag, American Samoa. This is not the Hawaii vibes island some people imagine. This is a place where ancient traditions still dominates modern life, and the US government mostly steps back like, all right, you got this. We'll just watch. Here's the shocker. People born here are US nationals, not automatically US citizens. They carry US passports, they can live anywhere in the US, but if they want citizenship, they must apply for it. It's a status found nowhere else in the US system. But the real plot twist? Land ownership laws. To own certain land, you need to be at least 50% Samoan by ancestry. Not 10%, not, I did a DNA test and found 2%, half. This protects Fa'a Samoa, the Samoan way of life, and prevents outside buyers from wiping out family villages with resorts and malls. For mainland Americans who move here, you can live indefinitely. You can work freely, but you'll almost always be leasing, not owning land. And you'll be living in a place where everyone knows everyone's uncle. Living costs are lower than Guam and Puerto Rico, especially rent. But wages? Also lower. Freedom here is deeper than economics. It's community, culture, and the absence of corporate America plastering advertisements everywhere. But if American Samoa feels culturally sovereign, the next territory is geographically the opposite. A massive US presence, insane travel distance, and a cost of living allowance that says, yeah, this is still America, but bring your wallet. 3. Guam, America's Pacific frontier. Number 3. Guam, a place so far from the mainland, you practically need emotional support to survive the flight. Guam is 6,000 plus miles from California, but fully American. Citizens, dollars, post offices, federal laws, and yet it feels absolutely nothing like the mainland. Guam is a fusion of Chamorro culture, Pacific Island rhythms, Japanese influence, military bases, and some of the most dramatic tropical landscapes anywhere. It's America, if America took a deep breath, relaxed its shoulders, and said, let's just vibe. But Guam has a twist. It's officially considered a non-foreign area, Yet federal employees stationed there get a special cost of living allowance because it's so expensive. That's like being told, "You're in America, but good luck affording groceries." Cost data shows rent can be 85 to 90% higher than American Samoa. Groceries are 10 to 12% higher, but salaries? Often 15 to 16% higher, which helps offset it. Plus, Guam gives Americans access to nearby Micronesian islands with fewer travel restrictions. So your weekend trips go from, "Let's go to Target," to, "Let's go to Yap." Freedom in Guam isn't about taxes. It's about distance, identity, and the ability to live a completely different version of American life. But if Guam is America in the Pacific, the next entry is America in the Caribbean, but with a tropical twist, fewer rules, and a tax structure that might make you question your life choices. 2. U.S. Virgin Islands. America, but make it Caribbean. At number 2 sits a territory that feels like a postcard, but functions like a U.S. suburb that just so happens to have crystal blue water. The U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John are fully under the U.S. flag, use the U.S. dollar, and treat most flights like domestic routes. Meaning yes, many Americans fly here without a passport. Living here requires no visas, no paperwork, just vibes and sunscreen. And the economy? Tourism runs the show. Everyone knows someone who works on a boat, a dive shop, or a jewelry store that tourists think is duty-free, but actually isn't really cheaper. Taxes? They have a territorial tax system separate from the mainland, and some residents end up with lower effective taxes than they would in high-tax U.S. states. Not as dramatic as Puerto Rico, but still financially attractive. But with freedom comes expense. Average rents in places like Charlotte Amalie, around $1,500. Its history, sold by Denmark to the US in 1917, gives the islands a deep cultural mix of Caribbean traditions, colonial architecture, and American structure. For many, this is America, but fun. But number one? Number one is something else entirely. Because our final territory is the only place in the entire US system where Americans can legally pay 0% tax on certain income without giving up their citizenship. Puerto Rico, the crown jewel of living free. Number one can only be Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico isn't just a territory, it's a tax strategy, a lifestyle movement, a political debate, and a tropical escape all rolled into one. And the shocking part? Everything here is 100% legal under US law. Thanks to Section 933, qualifying Puerto Rico residents do not pay U.S. federal income tax on Puerto Rico source income. That alone is wild. But then Puerto Rico added Act 60, formerly Acts 20/22, creating arguably the most powerful tax incentive package for Americans anywhere. 0% tax on many capital gains, 0% tax on many dividends and passive income, 4% corporate tax for qualifying export service businesses, property tax exemptions, municipal tax exemptions. It's basically the IRS saying, you can lower your tax burden legally, just actually live there. And trust me, people moved. Crypto traders, hedge fund managers, CEOs, drop shippers, nomads. Enough that the IRS now runs audits specifically targeting fake relocations. But Puerto Rico's freedom comes with real-life trade-offs. Electricity can be unstable. Still, nowhere else in the American system gives U.S. citizens the ability to lower taxes this dramatically without renouncing citizenship. In the island itself, mountains, rainforests, bioluminescent bays, colonial streets, world-class beaches, all wrapped in a culture that's proudly Puerto Rican first, American second. Puerto Rico isn't just freedom, it's freedom with flavor. These 5 territories prove America isn't just 50 states. It's also islands with their own laws, cultures, freedoms, and stories. Some offer tax breaks. Some protect ancient land. Some feel more foreign than foreign countries. But all of them challenge what it means to live free as an American. I'll keep finding the world's hidden corners. You just have to click subscribe to come along.